Hello everyone, this is Taylor Edrington with Rural Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado. And it's December 1st. It's officially winter on our South Platte fisheries and pretty chilly. My Simms Extreme hat with my little ear flaps definitely comes in handy on those fisheries. It's a time of year typically where we see a pretty good slowdown on the tailwaters in the South Park area, below Spinney, the Dream Stream, as well as 11 Mile Canyon. Specifically this time of year, or this year specifically, we have seen very slow fishing in the late fall and early winter due to low flows primarily. We've seen a lot of pressure, especially on the Dream Stream, and low flows, in the 50 to 75 CFS range on average, but even lower than that at some periods of time, has really combined for a really tough angling experience for most fishermen and fisherwomen. So it's something to consider when you're looking at spending a day on the water in the wintertime. We highly recommend considering the Arkansas tailwater, about 30 minutes from Canyon City and a short drive from the Denver Metro and Front Range area. Just typically a lot warmer than the South Park area. You'll see your average highs 20 to 30 degrees higher in the Pueblo County area during the wintertime on average. So, I would highly suggest kind of tucking that away and using that piece of information when you make a choice on which fishery to go to on a winter day. So, as far as fishing goes on the South Platte drainage, above Spinney, really at this point in time, there's too much ice flow to really productively approach that stretch. When we move down to the Dream Stream stretch, it's such a short stretch from the dam at Spinney that typically we don't see a lot of ice flow except for early in the morning and a little bit of ice growth later in the day as it gets closer to dusk. So typically, your good fishing hours are going to be from about 9 a.m., 9:30, or even 10 a.m., depending on how cold the specific day is, to 2 p.m. And after that, it's really just a matter of putting it in front of a fish's face. They're not going to move to take flies this time of year, so you really need to focus on your small midge larvae, blue-winged olive emergers, blueing nymphs, tractor nymph on top of that, and a technical nymph rig. Doesn't really need to be a long leader necessarily just because the flows are real low, but you do need to focus on 6X and maybe even 7X in some scenarios. You will see some midge activity on the Dream Stream, so perhaps some adult midge fishing is going to be available for an angler on that fishery. When you move down into 11 Mile Canyon, you see a lot more blue-winged olive activity, and midge activity is pretty tremendous this time of year in that section of the South Platte, so really expect for there to be some pretty good dry fly activity. Nymphing, of course, is going to be your mainstay there, and the flows are so extremely low in 11 Mile Canyon. Fishing's pretty easy because it's kind of like fishing in a barrel. Fish are real tight to structure. There's not really a lot of places for fish to go, so it does make it a little bit easier on anglers from that perspective. So a little bit more dry fly activity, like I said, in the 11 Mile Canyon stretch. You'll see, good midge hatches and some blue-wing hatches and even some lingering trichos there. And but one thing you will need to really focus on is a long leader, 12 foot or more, 6X, 7X, We've even seen people need to go to 8x just because of pressure. So that's something to put in your arsenal. Honestly, as far as patterns go, your best blue-winged olive imitations on both of those stretches of the South Platte have been in the Juju Betas category or the 2-bit hooker category, small, size 18 to 20 or even smaller. And we really like the darker patterns, so dark olive, purple, black, etc. Good attractor nymphs are going to be, San Juan worms, micro floss worms have been good on both fisheries. Attractor nymphs such as egg patterns, micro eggs, micro sparkle tail eggs, scuds, small scuds. So those are pretty much your go-to flies there on the nymphing side. On the adult side, we really like, the micro mayfly dries, the micro emergers, your batwing emergers, your WD-50s in the subsurface film for the emerger, and then your dry, actual adult dry, going to be obviously just small, like sprout midges, size 22 to 24. Your dry fly BWOs, wild turkey betas, Larry Kingery's pattern, sprout betas, high vis, quill body beta, stuff like that. Real small, size 20 to 22. So that's a little information for you for the Dream Stream and 11 Mile Canyon. Like I said, just because of the flows, 11 Mile Canyon's still in the 40 CFS range. That's really tough. That's really stressful on fish and can be very stressful on anglers because of that. We really suggest to look at other scenarios at this point in time. Now, if throughout the winter we see a little bit higher flows and those higher flows carry a little bit better water temperature throughout the water column, a little bit more consistent at least. You don't have big temperature swings from the morning through the day into the evening. You'll see a little bit more consistent fishing. Just fish a little bit less stressed out because they have more space. They feel a little bit better about what the scenario is. So do give us a call if you have any questions about the South Platte drainage. Rural Gorge Anglers has been guiding on the South Platte drainage for 24 plus years. So we would be happy to point you in the right direction. We also guide during the winter on the South Platte drainages, all 3 sections. So give us a call if you have any questions, toll free 888-994-6743, and enjoy your time on the water. Thanks so much for viewing.